Dear child, be careful. You must move immediately. The room you sleep in, the place you have always considered safe, holds something you need to be aware of. Open this message as soon as possible, for it is a warning from Jesus. There are moments in life when you cannot afford to wait, moments when the signs around you are too critical to ignore. This is one of those moments. Jesus is calling your attention to a situation that requires urgent action. The room you sleep in, where you rest each night, may no longer be the peaceful sanctuary you think it is. It might be compromised in ways that are not immediately obvious, and He is alerting you for your protection. What you are about to read has the potential to change the course of your life, your peace, and your spiritual journey. There are hidden dangers, unseen forces, perhaps even spiritual battles happening in the very space where you lay your head to sleep. Jesus knows best, and He is guiding you to act quickly. You must open your heart to this message and be ready to make the changes necessary to protect yourself and your future. This is not meant to cause fear, but rather to awaken you to the urgency of the situation. Jesus is looking out for you. He wants you to take the steps necessary to safeguard your well-being and to protect the peace of your spirit. The room where you sleep is far more than just a physical space. It is a place where your body, mind, and spirit come together to rest, restore, and refresh themselves. It is a space of vulnerability where you are meant to experience peace, restoration, and rest. But what happens when that very space, which you have always considered a haven, becomes compromised? What if it becomes a place where hidden dangers lurk, preventing you from experiencing true rest? This is why Jesus is sending you this message. He knows how important your place of rest is for your overall well-being, and He is warning you now because He cares. Throughout the Bible, sleep and rest are portrayed as times when God speaks to His people. For instance, Joseph, the earthly father of Jesus, received messages from God in dreams that led him to protect his family. Your sleep, too, is sacred. It is a moment when God can communicate with you, refresh your soul, and protect you from harm. But if the environment in which you sleep is compromised spiritually, emotionally, or physically, it can turn into a battleground rather than a place of peace. This is why Jesus is urging you to be aware, to wake up to the reality of what may be happening around you, and to take immediate action, both physically and spiritually. The Bible makes it clear that we are constantly engaged in a spiritual battle, even when we are unaware of it. As it says in Ephesians 6:12, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places." What does this mean for the room where you sleep? It means that your place of rest can sometimes become the target of spiritual attacks. These attacks might come in the form of objects in the room, the atmosphere, or even unseen spiritual forces that have gained a foothold. These forces can disturb your peace, affect your sleep, and hinder your spiritual growth. Have you been experiencing unrest at night? Maybe you felt anxious, uneasy, or even plagued by nightmares that disturb your sleep. These could be signs of spiritual activity in your environment. Often, the enemy seeks to attack us when we are most vulnerable, during sleep, when our defenses are down. But remember, Jesus is the Good Shepherd. He will not leave you defenseless. He is calling you to rise up, to be aware of what is happening, and to take action in His name. The urgency of this message cannot be overstated. When Jesus tells you to act quickly, it is because there is something at stake, something that could impact your safety, your peace, or your spiritual life. Delaying action could mean exposing yourself to further harm or to spiritual influences that aim to disrupt your life. When Jesus calls us to immediate action, we see it in the Bible time and time again. When He called His disciples, they didn't hesitate. They dropped their nets and followed Him without delay. In the same way, Jesus is calling you to move now, without hesitation. There is no time to wait. You may be wondering what exactly could be wrong with the room where you sleep. The answer may vary, but there are several potential sources of danger that Jesus could be warning you about. One possibility is objects or symbols of darkness. Sometimes we allow things into our homes that carry spiritual darkness without even realizing it. These could be items associated with occult practices, false religions, or negative energies. Even if these objects appear harmless, they can have a significant spiritual impact. Jesus may be calling you to cleanse your space and remove anything that doesn't align with His light. Another possible source of danger is past trauma or emotional wounds. If the room where you sleep has been a place of past trauma, emotional pain, or toxic relationships, it could carry lingering spiritual and emotional residue. These unresolved issues can affect your peace and your ability to rest. Jesus might be urging you to confront these wounds, to pray over the space, and to reclaim it as a place of healing. There could also be spiritual infiltration at play. The enemy can sometimes infiltrate our lives through the environments we inhabit, especially if we are not spiritually vigilant. This can happen through spiritual doorways that we unintentionally open, such as through certain entertainment, relationships, or negative thought patterns. Jesus is calling you to fortify your space spiritually, inviting His presence to fill the room and banishing anything that opposes Him.